Hey, what's up? I'm Jordan Harris, and this is the Mediocre Millionaire. So if you know anything about my story, you know that these last few years, starting back in 2015, they've been like a crazy whirlwind. A lot of positives, a lot of ups and downs, but overall, it's been an extremely wonderful blessing these last few years. So in 2015, my wife and I were unemployed. We had no money saved up. It was a tough time for us, really tough time. But today, things are going really well. We own a few businesses, and we are considered millionaires. So the question that I've been asked quite a bit, and a question that someone asked me just recently, it made me really start thinking about it. And I figured I could bring this question to you all to help you in your journeys. That question that I was asked is, what is the one characteristic that has changed within me more than any other characteristic in the last few years since I started my business? The answer to that question is, I guess I'll say it's different than most people would say, because a lot of times when you hear someone talk about a characteristic that changed, they talk about something that they had to increase. They had to increase their capacity level for spreadsheets, or they had to increase their workload. They had to increase different things. But with me, it was something that I had to decrease, actually. And that thing was I had to decrease my fear of failure. So whenever I was younger, growing up, I always did what my parents told me to do. I did what I saw my cousins, aunties, and uncles doing. We come from a working class family, so that means you go to school, you graduate high school, maybe go to college, get a job, make your boss happy. Hopefully your boss gives you a raise. From there, you work until you retire, and then you live your best life from the time you're like 65 to hopefully live to 85. So that was the blueprint. That's what I knew. That's what my family knew. That's just what we did. So since that was the safe thing, that's what I did. But when my wife and I found ourselves unemployed with no money saved up in 2015, I started to think like, well, maybe that's not the route that I need to go. Maybe I need to do something different. Maybe I need to go and forge my own path. So bought a vacuum cleaner from Walmart, $45, and started a cleaning company. My wife was right along with me. She was big and pregnant a whole lot of times, going out cleaning with me. And we just made the dream happen. Today I own that company with my brother Lance, and we have maybe 50 or 60 employees, and we clean, 60 or something buildings in the area. And it's growing. Every day it's growing. So from there, once that company started doing pretty well, the cleaning company, we took some money out of there and we put it into preschool. My wife has a love for children. She has her master's in educational psychology. So we started a preschool, and today that's grown into multiple preschools with 200 plus kids enrolled and maybe 60 or so employees. From there, we have some real estate as well. Like we have a residential real estate company, and then we have a commercial real estate company. So we own about $1 million worth of properties as well. So those companies, they're doing really well. But the thing that people always forget to mention are the things that don't go really well. So yeah, I've got 4 or 5 different companies that are doing well, but there's also 18 companies that I counted, and I'm sure I missed a few of them. 18 companies that I started and failed. And most of those companies, they failed within 2 weeks to a month. So these companies weren't just ideas that just came and I was just like, oh yeah, that'd be a good idea. Let's just try this. Those 18 ideas that I had, those were 18 ideas that I thought would change my life and my family's lives. Those were big, huge ideas that I put a lot of time into working on, and I just knew they were going to work. And they didn't. They failed within 2 weeks. Some of them failed within a month. Some of them maybe lasted 2 months. But those 18 companies, they failed. If you think of, if you think of a business idea, I've probably tried it. I wrote down a couple of them, or a few of them that I did. So I tried to deliver pizzas for Little Caesars. That was before they actually did that themselves. I started a staffing agency. That lasted maybe 2 weeks. I got laughed out of so many offices. It's crazy. I tried delivering clothing, and picking people's laundry up, taking it to the dry cleaners, and then picking it back up and delivering it back to them. I tried that. I rented out basketball gyms for a few hours at a time, and then had people come to the basketball gym and pay me a separate membership. That lasted very short. I tried selling things on Amazon. I've tried just about everything. And like I said, there was about 18 businesses that I counted. And I'm sure there's far more that my wife could tell you about. And I'd be like, oh yeah, I forgot I tried that crazy idea. But the moral of that is to tell you, like, your first business is most likely not going to be the home run. So you can't be afraid to try stuff. You can't be afraid to look crazy in front of your friends and your family, and worried about, well, what is Facebook going to say if I put this business out there? I just failed last week. What are they going to say about me if I put another one out there? If you have the idea, it's worth a try. Because what I do know is for every 3, 4, or 5 failures that you do have, you actually might have the cleaning company that I have now that allows us to have beautiful house and beautiful cars that we have and employ all these different people who are really good, hardworking people. For every 4 or 5 business ideas that tanks or that runs out of money in the first few days, you might have the preschool that my wife and I have now that employs 60 plus people and helps my wife pay for whatever it is that she likes to pay for, or help pay for our kids' gymnastics or whatever they want to do, go to Disney World, whatever that kind of thing is. So for every few failures that you have, you will have that one big success, and that's part of why your fear of failure has to decrease if you want to be successful. Today, if somebody asks me to try a new business, I will try that business most of the time without even blinking. I just need to know how much it's going to cost me, and then I go to the bank, get the money. What type of investment, as far as time, is it going to take? And then what's the return looking like? And then once I know those factors, if it makes sense, then I roll the dice real quick. I don't care who has the idea, as long as it sounds good, as long as it looks good on paper, and it's going to give a pretty decent return, I'm willing to try it, because I don't care what people think. I really don't care at all. So that's the answer for me. I'm actually interested in knowing what characteristics you've changed more than anything. And also let me know in the comment section, what characteristic will you be changing, or will you be working on changing over the next couple of years so you can get to where you want to get? All right, that's all that I have for you today. I appreciate your time as always. God bless. Take care. Peace.